Hello, welcome back to the book set Completionist. My name is Tom. Today we're at episode 22, and what do we have today? This set and a book, a science fiction book to review. Let's dive right into that. Okay, today's set is 2 books, however, it might be 3 at some point in the future. This is intended to be a trilogy, however, the author has paused his efforts of completing that trilogy. And so, since I don't think we're ever going to see that 3rd part, I'm just going to make a video about it now. The author has been chastised tremendously for not daring to finish his set. I've seen stories online about people who hate him for it. I think it goes a bit far, but alright, I guess if you've invested your time into reading the first 2 bits of a set, that you would be slightly annoyed if that is all you get, and there's no resolution. Fantasy is the genre. These books were published in 2007 and 2011, and the author has a beard. Oh, does that make anyone's bell ring? I don't know. Fantasy, yes. Did I say that? I think I did. The author's name is Patrick Rothfuss, and we're talking about the Kingkiller Chronicles. Alright, here they are. The Name of the Wind is part 1, and The Wise Man's Fear is number 2. And there's something about a wall that is supposed to be part 3. Again, he is in the process of writing it, but he has been for the last, well, it seems more than 10 years, so I don't know what's keeping him this long, but I haven't started it yet. I might do so in the near future or in the far future, so I don't really mind. I haven't read it, so I don't feel any hostility towards him not finishing it. So, fine. Let's take a look at the table. Part 1 is The Name of the Wind. This is fantasy, so of course there has to be a map in it. And it doesn't disappoint. Here it is. These 2 pages contain 1 map, right? It's 1 area, 1 territory, 1 continent. It's called the 4 Corners of Civilization. We've got Kjeld, Sealed, don't know how to pronounce. Commonwealth, Modeg, Vintus, and some areas in between. Good. The Name of the Wind, and part 2, The Wise Man's Fear. The map is the same, isn't it? It is. These books are pretty hefty, as fantasy novels usually are. And hopefully the guy, Mr. Rothfuss, will finish his trilogy to the satisfaction of many of his followers, if they still want to stay loyal to him. Okay. Today's review is of this book, Brian Aldiss's The 80-Minute Hour. It is a science fiction novel from 1975, and it is supposed to be a space opera. That's a kind of genre in science fiction where there are lots of characters, and they occasionally do sing. Or do they? Anyway, this book is pretty good. However, it is also very weird. Let's start with the name itself. The title of the book is The 80-Minute Hour. Like, how does that even work? It's a bit of a misnomer because the concept of an 80-minute hour doesn't even play a very significant role in this book. People, the powers that be in this case, are trying to, well, establish a bit of a new world order, and included is also the idea of a a 60-minute hour. But why should we stay with that? Why should we stick with 7 days a week, 12 months a year? Just make a completely new calendar with time concepts that, well, if there's 80 minutes in an hour, I suppose you could work longer. Although you still have cycle of the sun that, well, that seems to take 24 hours. So I don't think anything much would differ. We just get fewer hours in a day rather than 24. Okay, well, anyway, so what is this about? In a near future where there has been a World War III, time and space has been disrupted by the use of an immense amount of atomic weapons. These weapons have been used in several parts of the world and completely obliterated certain parts of it. For example, the United Kingdom is no more. Other parts are also severely infected or affected, rather. And time and space itself are being torn apart by these atomic explosions. And it happens that certain areas in the world experience different time periods, hundreds or thousands or even millions years back in the past. If you're just walking down the street, you could accidentally enter such a different time period and find yourself in the Middle Ages. That's how that works. Yeah, pretty interesting. Now, we do have characters in this book, of course. However, there's not really a main character. There's just a wide variety of them. They all have different plot lines, which, and this is one of the cons of the book, is that these plot lines are not linear. They are scattered throughout the book. One chapter deals with one character and their arc, and then it jumps the next chapter to a different character and their arc. And it's hard to keep track that way because the moment that you go into a new arc, and then you forget the old one. And then when you return to that previous one, you're kind of lost in, oh yeah, what was that about? Oh, to kind of go back to the first part. See, that is a bit of a challenge. Now, I still think it's worth it. If you want to read this book, I suggest you take some notes and make a short summary of every chapter you read. And then once you get back to a previous storyline, you could easily just review it and get back into it. So what are these characters doing? We've got, well, let me tell you that in this book there has been a new world order established. America and the Soviet Union, which still exists in 1975 when it was published, yes. Those two superpowers have allied themselves. They are now a team in the ComCap order, communist, capitalist, or was it Capcom? Capcom, they call it the Capcom order, capitalist, communist. And yeah, they're very dominant. And so at the other end, you've got another group of dissident nations who tries to sort of organize themselves into an opposing power bloc. Then there's a storyline where there's this industrialist, super powerful. Basically, his company runs the world. He is trying to escape from his enemies by hiding into some sort of subatomic universe that is hidden inside a pendant that is around someone's neck. Okay, that is pretty odd. There are storylines about people trying to get to a certain planet. There's a storyline where people end up at a certain planet, and that's where the cover illustration refers to. Their spaceship gets stuck in a massive tree. There's a storyline where time, well, the cycle of time has been looped. There's a place on Mars where an ancient ruin is discovered, and upon trying to figure out how old that ruin is, they find out it's 5 billion million years old, even much older than the universe. And so that begs the question, how is that possible? Well, apparently time can circle in loops, so that you have sort of an infinite cycle where things can get much older than the universe itself. Don't ask me how. So there's a lot going on. Again, lots of characters with weird names. There's a bit of humor in it that I don't really care for that much, but it's not too distracting. I think Aldiss is really doing something weird and something unique here. And although it's pretty hard to follow at times, I still think that if you treat it as more like a study of, well, tropes, right? You've got a lot of tropes, topics in science fiction, time travel, time dilation, time, different world orders, technology, all that stuff he tries to include. And if you could try to list that all, I think if I want to read this again, I did read it without paying too much attention to it, and I feel that I should have. I wish somebody had told me that this is the way the book is, and then that's why I'm doing this now, to tell you, all my many viewers, that if you want to read this book, take it seriously. It's not for a casual read, okay? It's good, but you need to really commit to it, I think, and then you will enjoy it a lot, I think. I'm sure. If you're a science fiction fan, that is. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That's it for today. Thank you very much, and see you next time.